I'm replacing a cylinder head on this cat engine on this track loader here. It's a this happens to be a 951C cat, but the engine's a 3304. The original part number is a 7n7070, 7n7070, but I couldn't find that one. I did find another cylinder head, and I think that this one's made in China, but it actually seems to be pretty good. But it's a 8n1188, 8n1188. Some of the places I got conflicting information. If you've had to search out cat part numbers, you'll kind of know what I mean. Some stuff's a clear crossover and some stuff isn't. This one, some of the places said it crosses over, some of the places weren't really clear. In any case, I think it'll work with a few modifications. So I wanted to do a quick video on what I had to change in case someone else is running into that. And this is the first thing you'll notice that's different when you get it. This is the, you have to pardon, it's sitting on the Caterpillar tracks right now, as you can see, so it's not a very clean workbench, but it's just too heavy to lug around all over. Anyways, what you'll see is this wasn't on the original head. There's a water outlet here. And then there's a bolt boss that's here that I had to do some work on, but I'll cover that. In any case, this wasn't there. This would be facing the front of the engine, so the fan would be right up here when this is bolted on. It's flipped around, so kind of orientate yourself to it. So it's reversed from where it would sit. Let me show you the other head real quick. This is the same end on the original head. This one's right side up. In any case, on the new head, there's a big bolt boss that comes across here. The problem that I had with it is the timing cover is also right here. It comes real close, within a 1/4 inch of this, I think. And that bolt boss, if you saw that, it was it sits out, quite a ways. So probably about 1 inch. But I had to take off the meat that goes right around here. I just used a grinder. I know it doesn't look real pretty, but these bolts won't be needed anyways. And the timing cover comes right up to this. So I had to shave this part down because there's a bit of a casting bulge that's right here, plus this, just to make sure. I didn't have a lot of room to see it. So what I ran into is when I set the head on, the alignment dowels wouldn't quite line up. It just wouldn't quite go far enough forward. But it was close. Let's see if you can see right above my thumbnail. That's where the dowel pin was actually hitting it. So it just wouldn't go quite far enough forward. Here's the rear dowel pin. Can you kind of see that groove right there, right in front of my fingernail? Anyways, it wasn't going far enough forward to line those up. So I've ground these back down. I'm going to lug it back on here. I've still got the hood on the machine, so I can't use a crane. So I'm just lifting it and kind of sliding it up on there and then turning it. That's why it's reversed, because I'll slide this end up onto the machine and up onto the engine deck and then turn it forward. And like I say, this is the front. It'll be facing that way. Let me see that flashlight there. Kind of using a flashlight here because it's a little bit dark in here. I wish I would have pulled the machine outside, but when I started tearing this apart, it was cold out. And now that it's sunny, I was wishing I was working outside. But anyways, there, right where the beam is, right there, that's the back of the timing cover. And so I wish that wasn't causing such a glare, but you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So that area that I machined down will go right, comes right up against that. And then the other problem, so there's about 3 problems. there's that, and that'll take care of the dowel pin, so that'll line up. The other problem is that there's no, there's a, like I said here, there's a water outlet. This isn't on the other head, so this is going to have to be capped off. So what I've done is I've just taken a piece of a flat steel and then made that to fit, and I'll just put a gasket in there and then cover that. And the other thing is, I wish I could flip this thing around, but it takes too much muscling, I think. Let me pause it real quick and I'll see if I can flip it. Okay, I've got the head kind of laying a little better on its side. This is the thermostat. It's the head sitting, just to orientate yourself here, the head's sitting upside down right now. This is the thermostat area. So the thermostat housing will bolt onto the top of this. On the original head, there needs to be a place for this to bolt up. This is the water bypass line. That end goes to the water pump, the end on the right, and then that. So I'm going to have to, I'm going to wait till it's on the machine, bolt this to, let's see, I'll bolt this to the water pump so that it'll be up in position. Whoop, that's too dark there to even see. Anyways, I'll bolt this to the water pump so it'll be up in position. And then I'll orientate this how it needs to be with the head, and tap that. Let me show you on the other head. This is how it looks on the other head. So I'm going to have to get that set up, but once it's bolted on the water pump, it'll rest right. You know, it'll be affixed right to where I need to be, so I can use that as a template to drill the holes in. It's just cast, so it should drill pretty easy, and then I'll unbolt it and then drill the center hole for the water. And then this is a water bleed line for the oil cooler, to get all the air out of that. So I'll also have to drill a hole here. I've got pipe taps, so that's not a big deal. The new head actually has a plug. The 8n1188 head has a different casting with a capped plug here that I could make it fit, but the steel line going to this, I just don't want to have to bend it, and I'd rather just stick to the steel line, so I think it'll be pretty easy just to tap that. The other, let's see, so there's another problem that you run into. Here's the thermostat housing. Or the thermostat. Anyways, that, you know where that goes. Anyways, that goes in there like that, right? And then your housing goes on top of it, on the original head. And then your gasket holds it into the housing. On the other head, this cutout is significantly larger, so this thermostat actually drops completely through. So I'm assuming I can't find another thermostat that's wider, so I'll make that work with the gasket, since it does sit, since the thermostat sits up inside the housing anyways, and then the gasket actually goes on the back side, on this side of it, then that should make up enough gap, I think, to fill in the larger hole. So there's and so far, and as far as the exhaust goes, all that stuff bolts up just fine. The injector chambers, those bolt up just fine. And the other nice thing about this new head, the 8n1188 head, I wish I could show you it here, but this is actually just a bigger, beefier heavier cast head than the original one, and the area that the injector cups bolt into is actually heavier. See, this is a front one here, but let me see that light. And then let's see if we can shine it in there without a... See that area right there where the injector cup bolts in the bottom underneath the... Here, hold the light right here. In the bottom right down there. That's where the injector cup will bolt in. And this is normally the area that cracks, but it'll crack on these two cylinders, the two center ones, and that seemed to be a common problem with them. And it's because when you... these are the chambers right here. I've got the chambers in there, but if they were out, I could show you. But the cast is actually a lot thinner down inside there where it bolts up on the original head than it is on that new head. So that's kind of handy. The whole area around the bolt boss is much thicker cast. This one I think is probably only... It's not very thick. The original one isn't. It's maybe a 1/4 inch, and the other one's well over, probably in the neighborhood of a half. It's considerably thicker, and it's just a heavier head. And so those bolt up. The exhaust bolts up. Everything else, the one thing that the valves were a little bit, there's a damn dog drinking. I don't know if you can hear him lapping in the background, but that's what that noise is. The valves were a little bit tight inside the seats, so I had to ream those out. Oh, and that's the other thing too. When you get this head, let me run over this here real quick. But when you get this head, it comes with the... there were several different options I found online. One was a completely loaded head, and anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500 and loaded, had the valves in it and the injector cups. This head, bare, was $800, but it comes with the seats already installed and ground, and it comes with all your freeze plugs in here. Your these brass things here. Let me see if I can do it without a glare. These are the water directors. So water comes up inside there, and then let me see if I can show you without it getting a weird glare, but there's a cutout inside of them. See that cutout? That's a water director. So when the water comes in, it directs it over in the area of the beam. Those were installed. All the plugs were installed. So all you got to do is get it, pull out your valves, or just order new valves. Install your injector cups, and then do the grinding stuff. So you've got, see, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's about 5 problems. The boss that you need to grind off. There's the water outlet that you'll need to plug right here. And then there's the bypass line down here that you'll have to drill out. And then there's the air bleeder line over here that'd have to be drilled out. So 4 things. That's not too bad. But the one thing I did notice though when I put them in is the valves were a little bit tight in the guides, so I just had to ream those out a little bit just to make me feel a little better. And other than that, I'm hoping it'll bolt up. If it doesn't, I'll add a disclaimer on the video. One other thing too, when you're looking at parts, this is another part number that I found for the injector chambers, 8n1188, and this one does not show up in my parts book. The thing is though, is this is what I ended up ordering. I ended up ordering 4 of them, and they all fit perfectly. But they don't cross over directly, but they do seem to be the same part. and they're good, and they were considerably cheaper than ordering the original part number. And then that's the only thing we've got. So and then I'll do a video of it running too. But anyways, I hope that helps. So that's a wrap.